Hi guys, it's day 6 of talking to the camera, and today I'm gonna talk about why I think that Bitcoin is probably the best investment that anyone can make, and it has been for a long time. I got into crypto about 2 years ago in the last bull run. That's when people usually get into it, and I'm no exception. But I lived through the bear market. I didn't lose faith. I educated myself. I watched a lot of content on it almost every single day. A lot of that content was entertainment, but I think it still counts. And there's still an educational element to it. But over those 2 years, I've built up a pretty good belief that Bitcoin has a bright future. Now, I know that a lot of people don't really like crypto and make fun of it and so on. But there's also a lot of people that really believe in it. And I think that the people that like it are a lot more than those with a strong opinion who don't like it. And I generally think that a lot of the people that don't like it just haven't invested enough time into understanding it. That is just a piece of code that some talented programmers can work on, can improve over time. And a lot of people don't see the value in money that cannot be controlled by a single government or entity. And I personally enjoy not having to provide any details about myself while using it. I still haven't made a purchase with it. And actually the exchange that I'm using, they required my documents, so it's not exactly going as I planned, but you're generally not required to show any identification when using it. You know, the exchanges are an exception, and I think that's a pretty good thing, because when you think about the money, what it is, it's just an exchange of value. And a lot of people just don't want to show their documents, or they're underage and their parents don't give them a credit card to buy things on the internet. And like in my situation, I'm having trouble getting payment gateways approved for my e-commerce store. It would have been a lot easier if I could just set up some Bitcoin payments, like a layer 3 solution or something that could start working from day one. Don't have to worry about addresses, identifications, nothing. And that's why some people think that a lot of criminals use it. But I think that it shouldn't be the job of the payment processor or the money to go after the criminals. It should be the law enforcement that goes after the criminals. We shouldn't make the life of everyone using a payment processor more hard just because there are a couple of people that are criminals that use it, that could potentially use it. So we see that with like and it's inefficient in a lot of ways. We see that with credit cards, with Stripe payments, PayPal. Sometimes they cost up to like 2-3% plus like 30 cents per transaction. Let me just check if this is rolling. Okay, so they cost like a lot of money, and a lot of the end consumers don't realize that, but as a business, the business usually takes the hit. And why is such a high fee required? I would like if someone can explain to me. But in Bitcoin with Lightning transactions, it's up to 0.001% or something like that, or which is like 1 Satoshi or 1/10 of a cent at minimum to have a transaction made. And I think that it's really a matter of time before a lot more people realize how much more efficient and fair of a system it is. We don't have any governments trying to, and when there's government there's people, and people usually have their own intentions about stuff. They can have their own motives. They may not always go after the interests of the citizens, and we can see that in every country, especially in my country. I think the politicians and the criminals sometimes are very connected. So they just don't go after them. Like the whole country knows who they are, but nothing happens to them. But so when there's people involved, they may do favors or just take the wrong decisions, or just even take the right decisions but just hurt somebody else. And how inefficient banking is, for example, yesterday I went to the bank to just to put some money in it, and I forgot my PIN, and thankfully I asked if I can put money in through the cashier over there and not the ATM, since I don't have my PIN, and they agreed, and I ordered the new PIN that would come in a week, and everything goes well. I went home that night. I tried to purchase something that was really important to me because it was like last Friday deal that was expiring the next day, and the transaction just didn't go through. The money was in the bank, but they had still blocked my card. I called them, and they just said it's blocked, and that they have no reason to unblock it right now, and to wait until the new PIN arrives and change it then and unblock it, and so on. And it's little things like that that add up. Another thing is, for example, their mobile apps not working during certain days, ATM fees, all kinds of fees for just holding your money. And with Bitcoin standard, there's gonna be a lot less of that. But how will we get there? I think we're on our way. The US is slowly losing its reserve currency status. BRICS is a joke. I don't believe that they will make their own currency, and even if they do, they will argue to the end about who will have more control over it and so on. The thing about BRICS is there are a bunch of very different countries with very different ideas about how geopolitics and politics should be, and they can't agree on pretty much anything. The only thing that they can agree is that they don't like the West a lot, and even in that there's levels of this hatred and dislike and so on. And the fact that their name, even when new countries join, are they just gonna add a couple more letters to the end of the name, or what's gonna happen with that? Because the new countries probably won't feel very represented when their name is not in the organization's name, and instead it's Brazil, Russia, India, etc. So that's another funny thing about them. But during the past couple of years, many people lost trust in the traditional fiat currencies, mainly the US dollar, the euro. We've always known that other currencies like the ruble and the yen and not the yen but the yuan or whatever, the Chinese money, it's really controlled. Every country has control of their money, some more than others, but what we saw over the past couple of years is that countries are stepping up their control. We saw that the assets of Russia were frozen and so on, which I think they should be, but they still show how reliant on politics and stuff is money. And what I believe, and what about a lot of crypto people believe, is that money should be separate from anything. It should be just a store of value, and there would be less wars without it, because that way governments won't be able to print cash whenever they need it. They would need to increase the taxes of their citizens more, and we all know that citizens don't like it when their taxes are increased. And they're generally gonna be a more fair system and nobody's gonna have insider knowledge when the interest rates are gonna go up or down. Nobody's gonna have first access to the newly printed money, to the and just we won't have inflation. Prices will mostly stay the same. They would just slowly go down in a Bitcoin standard because of technological deflation, and in the long term, because of the deflation in Bitcoin itself, because as people lose access to their wallets, that's still taking currency out of circulation. And yeah, I've been pretty invested in it myself. I'm at a pretty good profit right now. Not like a lot of people that made like 100x, but they got in a lot earlier. So we have a saying: everyone deserves to buy Bitcoin whenever they buy Bitcoin, or something like that. Because you could have been more interested earlier. You could have worked for more money earlier. Like, this is a big regret for me. I planned to get a job and invest pretty much everything into crypto, but sadly I didn't get a job, and I only invested my savings into it. If I had just gotten a job, I would have been a lot better off. And I'm at a location that I wanted to film on the first day, but I went to a different one because it was more convenient. Check it out. It's a bit scary, but at least there's not many people around, so that I can talk in peace. And in terms of investing in Bitcoin, it is the asset that provides the biggest returns out of any, like, with the exception of some individual stocks like Nvidia for the past couple of years. I actually wanted to invest in Nvidia too, but at the time I just hadn't set up maybe even a debit card, and hadn't set up an exchange or where I can buy some stock or something like that. I don't remember what it was quite like. It was a couple of years ago, but let's go back to Bitcoin. If we trust in Michael Saylor, which is one of the biggest proponents of crypto, of Bitcoin specifically, he says that an optimistic return for the next 30 years average yearly is about 29%, and a pessimistic one is 23%, which is very crazy. This means that Bitcoin will outperform anything for a long time to come. until it eventually becomes like average returns and diminishing returns at the end. But if you don't know who Michael Saylor is, he's basically the CEO of MicroStrategy. They have invested like tens of billions of dollars into Bitcoin, and it's going pretty well for them. I think they are the fastest rising stock in the stock market in the US for the past couple of years. And he's a pretty smart guy. I recommend you watch some of his podcasts, especially the one with Patrick Bet-David. That's where I got this statistic about 23%. I haven't done the math myself, but I believe him. And as people lose more trust in the system that we have currently, that only more people will get interested in crypto and Bitcoin. And we see a pretty steep adoption curve. It's like the adoption curve of the internet. Users are rising very fast. A lot of them are just looking for speculation to just earn a bit of money. But there's a lot of them are sticking around. Not every one of them is leaving. Like me, I could have just sold whenever Bitcoin was going down. I could have just given up, but I believed in all of these things that I'm talking about today, and thankfully I did. I'm a couple of 100% up on my savings that I had invested. And yeah, basically I see us going into a world that's more bipolar, as some people like to say. There's gonna be less trust among us, and that would require using a currency that does not favor anyone, that is more fair. That both China, Russia, India, Europe, etc. can agree to use amongst themselves. And of course Europe is gonna be last about it. They're really stubborn, and they look like the biggest crypto haters of any organization or country right now, which is a shame, because I'm from here. And Bitcoin is positioned perfectly to play the role of this play this mediator role that everyone can agree to use, and that hopefully will bring more freedom and prosperity to the world. And that's about it for today. I recommend to you that you interest yourself in Bitcoin. See why a lot of people believe in it as much as I do, or even more. A lot of people are really like we joke that it's like a goat sometimes, but there's reasons for that, and a lot of people have very strong opinions on stuff like this. And I recommend to you that you don't look for content creators that are just focus on how to make the most money fast, and that show you just some altcoins or shitcoins that they want to peddle to you so they can make a return for themselves and so on. I recommend that you look for quality content creators that will show you the value that they see in Bitcoin without talking about the price as much. I cannot really recommend to you such creators because the only ones I'm following are in my local language. But I think sometimes I watch Robert Breedlove. He's a pretty knowledgeable guy about money and Bitcoin. He has a pretty good podcast. Another guy that I know is a Greek guy, Antonopoulos or something like that. He was a pretty big Bitcoin guy back in the day that educated a lot of people. And Michael Saylor and a lot of other people, but I cannot name any names right now. Jeff Booth, I'm remembering some. Natalie Brunel and so on. If you dig a bit, you find that there's a lot of pretty good content on Bitcoin, but it's a bit below the surface. Most people just look at it as a speculation. They just want to make some money on it. And we shouldn't blame them too much, but I hope that most people can see the value that Bitcoin can provide and understand it for themselves. Because although it's like 9 pages of white paper basically, is how that Bitcoin is, the world behind it, why it was created, the problems it fixes is deep, and it's quite interesting actually. If you're interested in investing or finances or just money in general, I think you'd like it a lot. Yeah, if you're not already following it. But that's basically gonna be it for today. Today it was a very hard day for me to film. I don't know why. Maybe because it was a topic that I didn't want to mess up. It was an important topic to me. So I stood here like an hour all the way back from that park over there and just tried to gather up the courage and think of what to say. And yeah, it's getting late, so I'm just gonna work out. It's like 11 p.m. right now. I'm just gonna work out right now and head home and do some more work over there on the computer. So I'll see you again. Thank you for watching day 6. Bye. Oh, and also I want to make I'll also make a longer version of this in the future, with a lot more details and statistics that I want to show you guys. But that's basically for today, so thank you, bye.